Dimensioning an orthographic drawing. In this video, we'll go over how to set up our dimension style, dimensioning rules, and then we'll dimension our drawing. So first, let's open up our orthographic drawing where we scaled the title block to fit around it. Now that that's open, you're going to want to get into your dimension layer, or you may have called it dim. In this layer, we're going to set up our dimensioning standards. So to do so, you'll want to go to your annotation tab, and then in your dimension section, you can click this little arrow in the bottom right corner, or you can type in dim style, D-I-M-S-T-Y-L-E. And this is going to open up our dimension style manager. Under standard, we'll want to go over to modify. Now because we scaled our title block up a factor of 4, we'll want to go to our fit tab, and we'll want to scale our dimensions by a factor of 4. The other thing, under units, we have 4 zeros after our decimal place, which is very precise. But our original drawing did not give this type of precision. So we're going to change the precision to just be a 0 with no decimal places. So when we go to put in our dimension, you can do so under your annotate tab. You select the dimension tool, or you can type in dimension. We can click on a corner and another corner, and we'll get a value for that measurement. Here you can see the number is nice and big, in fact 4 times larger than it was before, and no decimal places. Excellent. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put in our notes section. Notes go up here in the top right corner, and this is the place where you can put any pertinent information about the drawing. But the most important information that we put here are our units. So to do that, you can go under your Annotate tab and select Multi-Line Text, or from the Home tab, Annotation, Multi-Line Text, or you can type in mtext, mtext. And here we're going to set up our dialog box. I'm lining it up with the outer corners of my right and top view, and then I'm going to line it up with the bottom corners. So I get a box that's symmetrical with the rest of my views. The title is going to be all capitals, notes, and then our first line, all dimensions in inches. We'll close this, and our text is going to show up really small because we haven't changed our text size. So why don't we go ahead and highlight our text, go over into our text size box, and we can change the overall text height to 1. It's going to show up really large in the preview, but when you actually close the text editor, it's going to show up as a regular size. So now we have a nice size for our text box. If we find the text is too big, we can always change it later. So notes, all dimensions in inches. Now it's time to dimension our views. So some general rules for dimensioning. First rule, you never want to dimension, if avoidable, between the object and the border. So that would be this space here, right on the outside here. So this space between the object and the purple border is kind of no-no. We don't want to do any dimensions there. We're going to want to keep all of our dimensions, if possible, between our objects and our notes. So in this in-between space here. That's all okay. The second rule is, if avoidable, you do not want to dimension to any hidden lines. In this drawing, we do not have any hidden lines, so we don't have to worry about that. And the third kind of big no-no in dimensioning is dimensioning inside an object. So we'll make sure whatever dimensions we have are on the outside of an object. Again, these 3 things can be broken if necessary, but you want to try your best not to break those 3 rules. So first thing we're going to do with any drawing, you're going to want to dimension your overall length, your overall width, and your overall height. And you want to try to do so without repeating any of your dimensions. So if we were to dimension the width of this object, we would get 10. What you don't want to do now is go into your front view and dimension the width of the object. Because your front view, your right view, and your top view, this is all the same object. It's just 3 views of the same object. So if the top view is 10 wide, the front view is also going to be 10 wide. You don't have to tell us that. So we'll remove that dimension. So we have our overall width. Let's do our overall height, which is also 10. So we have height, width. Now what do we need? We have Length, width, we need width. So there are a couple ways we could do that. We could do that by dimensioning here. What would be easiest would be to dimension down here. But then you get a dimension between the object and the border. So why don't we put our dimension here, which is also 10. And we'll want to go straight up, a distance of 10. So we have height, width, depth. Perfect. Now we want to look for any missing features. So that meaning any features in the drawing that we have yet to tell what the measurement is. So here we have all of these steps, which we know are the same dimension in rise and in run. So what we can do, similar to the example, is we could use a typical. So what we could do is we could dimension the height of this stair as well as the width of the stair. And what we could do in our notes is we could say stair dimensions are typical. Stair dimensions are typical. What we're finding now that our notes are getting kind of large, so we may want to highlight our notes and change our dimension size. Instead of being, first we had 0.2 and then 1, let's try maybe 0.5. We don't want 5, we want 0.5. There we go. This looks like more of a manageable size. Notes, all dimensions in inches. Stair dimensions are typical. So we have the 2 high and the 2 wide, and we know that the same dimension exists here as on the rest of the stairs as on all of these features. So we have virtually all of the dimensions necessary for this item. In other drawings, you may require other dimensions. So in your activity sheet, you'll find a whole list of other dimensioning rules that you may want to follow if you're dimensioning a different object. This is the end of dimensioning an orthographic drawing.